Good afternoon, parents, guardians, and welcome to Back to School Night. I wish that we could be seeing each other face to face, but circumstances being what they are, we'll have to make the best of this. Um, my name is Miss Labbe-Louis, and I am your children's English language arts grade 7 teacher. A little bit about myself. My name again is Mrs. Labbe-Louis, or simply Miss Lewis. I obtained both my bachelor and master's degrees from Brooklyn College in Brooklyn, and I have a supervisor's certificate from King University. This is my 24th full year teaching English language arts and my 16th year in the District of Irvington. Prior to Irvington, I taught in a private school, also in a high school in Jersey City, and in Brooklyn, New York, where I lived before moving to New Jersey. Course description. In our 7th grade language arts class, we will be exploring a variety of genres, including fiction, novels, short stories, fairy tales, etc., as well as nonfiction, informational texts, biographies, autobiographies, essays, poetry, and drama. So basically, we'll be doing different types of reading with your children. We will also be exploring different forms of writing. We'll be doing narratives, which are stories. We'll be doing argumentative and expository essays, letters, journals, and many more. In terms of materials that we'll be using, when we are in the building, we'll be using the HMH textbook, the actual textbook. But while we are virtual, I'll be sending your children digital copies of the texts from the HMH textbook, as well as the close reader workbook. All handout materials will be sent digitally via Google Classroom. So please be mindful that Google Classroom is the format that we are using to send assignments to your children. If you could, I have invited your children, but I don't have all of your emails. So if you could add yourself to Google Classroom, that would be great. In terms of writing, a lot of writing graphic organizers are also sent as assignments. And Google Documents are also going to be sent for writing essays. We're also going to be doing iReady. In fact, on Monday, we're having our first iReady diagnostic test. It is a reading intervention program. Class expectations, both in the building as well as virtually. I do want your children to come to class on time. Period 1 begins at 8:30. Period 3 begins at 9:40, and period 8 begins at 1:05. And these are the times that I have your students, your children. They need to come to class prepared, having needed supplies. Now that's when we're in the building. That means they're going to need their pens and their pencils and all of that. But while we are digital, I still ask them to have a notebook, because sometimes I tell them that they may need to take notes on some of the things that I'm saying, so that they can have them as support when they need materials, maybe during a test or to prepare for a test. And they also need to have their assignments from the previous day completed. Sometimes what we're doing in class on a particular day depends on something we already did the day before. So if I ask them to have an assignment done and they don't have it, they're not ready. They don't have what they need to continue on. All assignments must be completed. Right now, we don't call it homework, we call it independent assignment, but these are assignments that are posted on Google Classroom for them to do after the school day is done. I usually have that due by 11:59 that night. That gives them quite a bit of time to try to get the assignment done. Classwork, we do assignments during class, and any tests they may be getting. Right now, essays going to be counted as tests while we are virtual. They do get quizzes. I think they've had 2 so far, and projects also. So whether we are virtual or when we are back in the building, all of these things must be completed for them to receive a passing and hopefully better than passing grade in this class. They also need to request to make up assignments they might have missed, either because they weren't live on a particular day or in class on a particular day, or while we're virtual, if they're having technology issues. And I know that's going around everywhere. Even I am having some trouble with technology issues once in a while. So I do get it. I understand it. So if they're missing something or they've missed something, they really need to let me know so that we can make up time, get some time to make it up. Grading policy. While we are fully virtual, the grading policy is a little bit different, what we call the UGP or Uniform Grading Policy. It's a little bit different than when we're in the classroom. I'm going to go over both. While we are fully virtual, um, tests and essays, they'll get 2 per cycle, and that's 30% of their grade. Quizzes/projects are 25% of their grade. Independent assignments, these are the assignments, like I said before, they receive via Google Classroom to complete at the end of the day. That's 25% of their grade. And then participation is everything we do in the classroom while we do live, whether it is a do now assignment or um, a journal assignment that I give them class time to do. I count that as participation. Also, whether they're answering questions or asking questions, whether they're there, that's all part of class participation, and that's 20% of their grade. When we're back in the building, hopefully sooner than later, this is the uniform grading policy for that. Tests, there will be 4 per cycle, that's 30% of their grade. Quizzes, 4 per cycle, 15% of their grade. Projects, 3 of them per cycle, that's 25% of their grade. And classwork, 16 per cycle, because we are spending a lot of time doing class activities, that's 20% of their grade. And homework, there will be 16 per cycle, and that would be 10% of their grade. So you'll notice that tests and projects constitute about 55% of their grade. That's where the majority of their grades go. So they need to be prepared for that. But where homework and classwork really helps is that the tests really depend on the homework and the classwork because these are practice for the tests. Class rules and consequences. I'm going to be speaking in terms of in the building as well as virtual. When first one, that's for both. Raise your hand to indicate that you want to ask or answer a question. While we are virtual, um, they need to indicate in the chat box that they're going to ask a question. Like if I ask a question and they want to answer in the chat box, they would put me or I want to answer. No calling out because that's not fair to other students who are actually raising their hands and wanting to answer questions. While virtual, if possible, I would like for your children to keep their cameras on. I do understand that there are circumstances that might make that impossible, that make it difficult. However, if they are not able to keep their cameras on, they have to make sure they're participating through the chat room and with their microphones. If there are microphone issues, definitely through the chat box, because that's the only way I can know that they're there. Otherwise, all I'm seeing is either a picture or a Bitmoji. That really does not make them there. It simply means that their computers are on. So I would really prefer the cameras to be on, but like I said, if there are circumstances where that's not possible, then they really need to make sure that they are participating, that they are asking questions, answering questions. I call on people sporadically throughout to make sure that they're there. And if I call on them 3 times and they're not answering, I'm going to assume that they're either sleeping or that they're not there. So they really need to make sure that they're responding by unmuting or by using the chat box to answer question. If I'm calling students and I don't get any response, I'm going to have to call home or contact the guidance counselors to let them know that the student is not responding. So I don't even know if they're really there. For cameras, they have to be on while they're taking a test. That's the only way we're going to know that they're the ones taking the test and that they're present taking the test. So please just bear with us if during a test your child tells you they're going to be having a test. If possible, if they can be in a room by themselves, if they can be someplace else, just facing a wall, facing a window. Nothing that is personal needs to be shown. Just need to see their faces, um, especially during a test. Absolutely no profanity. That's a rule that I have while in the building as well as virtually. They have to watch what they say, how they respond to each other, showing respect to one another, not making any negative comments about what the other students are saying or what other students' hair look like or anything like that. So we need to show respect to one another. Virtual office hour. The district has set up virtual office hours for every grade level. For seventh grade, I believe that's for middle school or in general. The office hour is between the time of 2:15 p.m. to 2:51 p.m. So the last period, period 9, ends around 2:10. So at 2:15, it's open for students to come in if they have a question, if there's something they didn't understand during class, they need clarification on, um, or anything that they need help on. Also, to make up a quiz or a test or anything that they might have missed, the office hour is the time to do that. The code for the office hour is really the same. It's just for my class, it's ELA hyphen Labbe-Louis, Labbelouis. That's it. So, parents, you may also use this if you want, for instance, to speak with me about something or you have a question about something. You can also log on with this code to the office hour. And if I don't have any student at that time, we can definitely chat and, discuss whatever might be on your mind. With that, this is pretty much the end of my little presentation here. Like I said before, I wish I could have been seeing you face to face and actually get to know you. But hopefully, we'll get to do that soon. My contact information, like I said, you can see me during office hour or you can email me at slavilois at irvington.k12.nj.us. Please identify who your child is, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you so much for your time. I know these are unprecedented days, but we'll get through it, all of us together. Hopefully, I'll see you soon. Have a great day.